In January 2026, a new titan of steel and concrete rises on the Canadian skyline. More than a bridge, it's a $4.8 billion declaration of economic independence. This is the story of how Canada, long America's closest ally, began to redraw the commercial map of North America. After a wave of punishing U.S. tariffs and unpredictable trade policies, Ottawa made a pivotal decision. It would no longer let its economy hinge on a single congested border crossing. This is not just about infrastructure, it's about power, strategy, and shifting alliances. The project, unveiled as a direct response to U.S. economic pressure, marks a fundamental shift in Canadian policy. For decades, the flow of goods south was Canada's economic lifeblood, but the tariff storm of 2025 changed everything. Suddenly, the border became a barrier, a source of risk. This mega bridge is Canada's answer, a new strategy to build roots, forge partnerships, and reduce dependence on its powerful neighbor. It's engineered to bypass bottlenecks, weaponized in this new era of trade disputes. By creating a direct, efficient corridor, Canada aims to shield its exporters from costly delays and punitive measures at U.S. crossings. It's a high-stakes gamble, betting that the old ways of doing business are gone for good. The world is watching. Will this audacious plan pay off or become a monument to a failed strategy? As the pylons rise, they symbolize a nation refusing to be a passive observer in its own economic future. For over a century, the U.S.-Canada border was a symbol of integration and prosperity. The Detroit-Windsor crossing was the economic heart, powering the North American auto industry. Every day, thousands of trucks moved parts and vehicles in a seamless ballet of just-in-time manufacturing. Crossing the border was once routine, with $300 million in goods flowing daily. This predictability allowed businesses to plan and grow with confidence. Trade agreements like NAFTA and USMCA institutionalized this special relationship, ensuring minimal friction. But that era of smooth commerce now feels distant. Trust has eroded, replaced by suspicion and bureaucracy, shaking the continent's economic foundations. The shift began subtly, then accelerated. In April 2025, the Trump administration unleashed sweeping tariffs, 25% on Canadian autos, 34% on Chinese imports, and 50% on steel. The impact on Canadian businesses was immediate and devastating. The border became a financial minefield, with U.S. customs ramping up scrutiny and fines. Penalties exploded from $667 million to nearly $33 billion in a year. A simple paperwork error could bankrupt a small company. Ultra-form manufacturing in Ontario laid off workers as tariffs made their products uncompetitive, while hiring new staff just to handle customs paperwork. Across Canada, businesses shed value-creating jobs and hired for bureaucracy. Industry leaders like Ken Langone and Jamie Dimon condemned the tariffs as blunt instruments causing immense damage. Even Elon Musk broke ranks, calling for free trade. The message was clear. These tariffs weren't clever tactics, they were wrecking the very businesses they claimed to protect. Canada was cornered, and a dramatic response was inevitable. Under economic siege, Canada decided it could no longer play defense. The answer: a $4.8 billion mega bridge, a direct counter-move to alter North American trade flows. Conceived as a lifeline for exporters, the bridge would bypass U.S. chaos and cost. The announcement sent a clear message: Canada was investing in its own resilience. The bridge would feature dedicated truck lanes, high-speed rail, and integrated customs for maximum efficiency. The goal: a seamless corridor linking Canadian producers directly with global markets, especially Mexico. Prime Minister Mark Carney called it an investment in national sovereignty and supply chain security. The price tag is steep, but the cost of inaction is higher. By providing an alternative to gridlocked U.S. crossings, the bridge gives Canadian companies leverage and new options. It's a long-term bet that protectionism is here to stay, and Canada needs a permanent solution. Months of failed negotiations and rising tensions led to this bold pivot. The mega bridge moves the conflict from the courtroom to the construction site. Canada isn't just challenging the rules, it's building a new playing field. As US tariff walls rose, Canada and Mexico built a new alliance. In September 2025, their leaders met in Mexico City, without the US, to unveil a plan for integrated trade routes bypassing America. This was more than a trade deal, it was a geopolitical realignment. The plan developed ports, railways, and energy corridors for a seamless north-south logistics network. For Canadian exporters, this means shipping goods directly to Mexican ports for export to Asia, avoiding US tariffs entirely. The alliance gives both countries leverage in future US negotiations and signals they're no longer junior partners. The North American trade dynamic has shifted from a triangle to two parallel lines. The new tariffs triggered chaos in global markets. Stocks plummeted. The Nasdaq entered a bear market. The Magnificent Seven tech stocks lost $1.8 trillion in 2 days. Apple alone shed $638 billion. The pain spread beyond Wall Street. Recession fears soared, and CEOs braced for job cuts. The auto industry, the main target, warned of soaring car prices for Americans. Oil prices tumbled, not from abundance, but from collapsing demand. Factories slowed, shipping orders fell, and consumers delayed purchases. In this climate, Canada and Mexico's response looked less like a gamble and more like insurance. The $4.8 billion bridge became a prudent defense against further disruption. The chaos forced nations to rethink supply chains and build new economic defenses. Beyond headlines and politics, the trade war's human cost is felt by workers and small business owners. In Ontario, companies like Ultraform laid off skilled machinists. Good jobs lost to protectionism. Meanwhile, a new class of white-collar jobs emerged: customs compliance, logistics, and trade law. These roles don't create value. They manage paperwork and risk, dragging down productivity. Truck drivers now face hours-long waits and intense scrutiny, with minor errors risking massive delays. The social fabric of border communities is fraying, replaced by frustration and resentment. What was once a seamless community now feels divided. The tariffs have poisoned the goodwill that defined the US-Canada relationship, leaving ordinary people to bear the consequences. As the dust settles, experts agree this is a permanent recalibration of North American trade. Larry Fink of BlackRock says the US is in a structural recession, not just a cyclical downturn. The Canada-Mexico alliance and the mega bridge are logical responses to US unpredictability. Dr. Anjali Sharma notes that when a dominant player becomes erratic, others build redundancies and bypasses. The US may win tariff battles, but risks losing its central role in continental trade. The White House remains defiant, rejecting free trade overtures and urging foreign investment in US factories. This hardline stance leaves little room for negotiation, pushing allies further away. The USMCA review will test if the three countries can find a new equilibrium. But the new bridge and Canada-Mexico corridor have changed the game. Canada and Mexico are no longer dependent. They're building their own economic lifeboat. Canada's $4.8 billion bridge is about more than steel and tariffs. It's a reminder that no nation is an island. Global trade stability can't be taken for granted. The events of the past year show how fragile those bonds are. This bridge forces us to ask, is a border a wall or a gateway? Canada's response is a bet on integration, not isolation. The lesson: trade is the circulatory system of our world, connecting workers, drivers, engineers, and consumers. This bridge is a symbol, a choice for partnership over protectionism, for building connections that make us stronger. The challenge ahead: to build bridges, literal and metaphorical, that can withstand political storms and carry us toward a more stable, prosperous future.